Don in London. Hello, it's October 30th, Friday, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, primary addictive substance, alcohol. My behaviour could be anything. Well, workaholic, always looking for the right relationshipaholic, looking for the right fix, gym, food, you name it, gadgets, acquiring material things. And I did that for years, hoping that I would feel better about life. And alcohol, it took the edge off me, and I didn't realise the first drink did the damage. That was when I was a very young person, because it altered my feelings and made me feel, I suppose, warm, fuzzy, convivial, joyful, until of course it became a habit. And then as soon as it became a habit, then life changed. I became dependent in some way on a substance or thing or situation to try fix the person inside. And I was the person who was always a bit fearful, trying to put a brave face on, as I was taught, and ego probably came out more than confidence or self-esteem. So these days, one day at a time, I try to stay in recovery. And what helped me get to a place of recovery was family, friends, professionals who tried their utmost to help me beat my addiction. And what I realised is we don't beat addiction, we live with the addictive disorder or the addiction that's in us, and then we have a daily reprieve. So we are able to maintain recovery. That's recovering from the addictive personality or disorder, and also the substance and behaviour which goes with it. So these days, one day at a time, I try to keep sober, and so far so good. But complacency is the biggest danger, that I am cured, and I realise I will never be cured. And I'm grateful for that, because it's put me back on the road of learning how to live on a daily basis. I don't need to find out who I am and know by the end of my life who I am. I just learn a little bit more about who I am on a daily basis in relation to what is going on around me. So I'm more included and a part of, rather than excluded and isolated. And what keeps me in recovery? Well, family, friends, professionals, and a great big fellowship. And the fellowship is called Alcoholics Anonymous. And the only reason I'm in it is because it's about unique, authentic people keeping in recovery, living one day at a time, and remaining unique and authentic, and finding how to live an emotional, spiritual and physically good life. And it's not about being better or worse than anybody else, it's just making the best choices that we have based on the life experience we are in. So AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, integral to my recovery, keeps me on track, and it's simply a fellowship where people meet up and share experience, strength and hope. So I do the same here about me. I can't share about anybody else, and I can't say that I am a representative of AA. I'm not, and I never want to be so, but I can share how it helps me, and I keep my uniqueness and my authentic self growing on a daily basis. So I went to a meeting of AA last night, and it was brilliant. And one of the things that is said at the beginning of every meeting, and I say it here as well, that it's part of my daily reflection and meditation to recognise what helps me and what keeps me in a place of sobriety. And the statement of intent, or AA preamble, goes like this: Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is the desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And in achieving sobriety, there is a 12-step program of how to change our attitude and behaviour on a daily basis. So 12 steps of action to change our attitude and behaviour, and 12 traditions to hold the fellowship together. So the 12 steps are about being open, honest and willing as a person to keep on growing And the 12 traditions are about recovery, unity and service, as is fellowship. So the fellowship is all about unity, recovery and service. So 12 steps of action for me, 12 traditions for everyone to keep the AA fellowship going. And life is evolving, the fellowship is evolving, but the principles pretty much stay the same, set in stone. It's almost like a mission statement. And of those 12 steps, October is all about step 10. So 12 months, 12 steps. This little book, Daily Reflections, covers most of the steps, one a month, starting obviously with step 1 in January, all about being powerless over alcohol and life being completely unmanageable. But October for me is about step 10, and step 10 is all about taking a daily inventory. I'll mention it here simply because it's coming to the end of the month, and then it goes on to step 11. And so step 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Can we stay sober and keep emotional balance under all conditions? Self-searching becomes a regular habit. Admit, accept and patiently correct defects, or where we've gone wrong, or where we've just come to understand a different way of looking at the world. Emotional hangover from the past. When past is settled with, present challenges can be met. Varieties of inventory: anger, resentments, jealousy, envy, self-pity, hurt, pride, all led to the bottle. Self-restraint, first objective. Insurance against big shotism. Let's look at the credits as well as the debits. Examination of motives. And that's done on a daily basis. And most people, if they were to do that, would actually see that with a little bit of reflection on what's worked and what hasn't worked on a daily basis, or made a mental note as we go along, what's working for us, so we don't keep on falling into the same old pothole, would be a really good idea. And in the fellowship we learn to do this almost automatically, but I also need memory joggers, a fellowship to keep me on the track, and sponsors and friends who can just say, hang on a minute Don, where are you going with this? Anyway, live and let live is what's in this book, Daily Reflections for today, and I sincerely and wholeheartedly believe this is true. Live and let live. Never since it began has Alcoholics Anonymous been divided by a major controversial issue, nor has our fellowship ever publicly taken sides on any question in an embattled world. This, however, has been no earned virtue. It could almost be said that we were born with it. So long as we don't argue these matters privately, it's a cinch we never shall publicly. And that comes from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 176. Do I remember that I have a right to my opinion, but others don't have to share it? That's the spirit of live and let live. The Serenity Prayer reminds me, with God's help, accept the things I cannot change. Am I still trying to change others? When it comes to courage to change the things I can, do I remember that my opinions are mine and yours are yours? Am I still afraid to be me? When it comes to wisdom to know the difference, do I remember that my opinions come from my experience? If I have a know-it-all attitude, aren't I being deliberately controversial? And the gift is, if we don't have a know-it-all attitude, or know-it-all attitude, because we don't know it all, and all the chairs this week have been about the more I know, the less I know. And the gift of seeing people yesterday from 4 days sober to 47 years sober is the similarity which binds the fellowship, which is a desire to stop drinking and remain sober, emotionally, spiritually and physically, is what makes the fellowship work. And people remain unique, authentic, have their own understanding of God as they understand it, or good conscience. And that for me is the gift of tolerance and love. Tolerance and love in all matters. So when I share the Serenity Prayer at the end of my videos, it is to the God of your understanding, or as I understand God. For me, as Gandhi said, God is truth, God is love, and God works through people. And that's as far as I've got. Pretty good for me. So the Serenity Prayer: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is for me just for today.